This book literally changed my life. I was working as a fashion designer in London, my dream job. I'd been there for 8 years and we were hosting a sample sale. And this woman with this incredible energy came up to me and we ended up having this really, really long conversation. And at the end of it, she said to me, "You seem like a really positive person, but you seem like a little bit low. You should read this book." And it was this book. And she was right, and she pretty much changed my life by introducing me to it. At the time, I was a pretty cynical person, didn't know anything about personal development, and then I read this, and literally my life changed overnight. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. If you're interested in the book or interested in changing your life for the better, and I've got some really cool things to share with you. Hi, welcome. I'm Liz Ellery, and on this channel, I talk all about things to help you design a life and business you love for small business owners that are a bit into the woo, manifesting, law of attraction, and you want to make a business thrive. I've done it myself. I've gone from income up and down roller coaster to six figures for multiple years, and everything that you're going to follow in this channel are videos to help you live a life that you love. Okay, let's get into today's subject, which is all about You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. So I have made some notes and I used a yellow pad and a yellow pen today to talk through, because there are so many things that this book has changed my life with. So first off, I was working, like I said, as a fashion designer. It was my dream job. And I read this book and I just had this epiphany. I remember being on London, I'd just gone home for Christmas and I was coming back for New Year. And I was on the top of a red London bus and I just had this epiphany of oh, I can be and do anything I want to be. And up until that point, I'd come from a northern in England town where everybody had the same career their whole life. And and all of my friends too, all of my young friends at the time, we'd not deviated from our careers. And I just thought, well, what would I want to do? And I had these ideas that were I wanted to be a print designer rather than a fashion designer. And I've been boring my friends for years talking about my portfolio. I couldn't go out because I was doing my portfolio. And basically, I was just procrastinating. And this book changed all of that for me. I read it. She had a course on her website that was called 8 Weeks to One Badass Goal. And at that point, I thought, well, my badass goal is going to be to be a print designer. And I didn't do that. What I ended up doing was I was really into inspirational quotes. So I thought, I'm going to build a business that's going to have phone cases with inspirational quotes on them. And then it's going to sell lifestyle products and bags and t-shirts and pencil cases and all that sort of stuff and journals. And I went full on when I had my 9 to 5. Every evening I went home and I would print out millions of inspirational quotes. I would send them out to my friends in surveys and I was like, which one's your favorite one? I then taught myself calligraphy. I got everything sent off to factories to get made. One of my friends was the stylist at Harvey Nichols and Netta Porter, and she helped style it for me. My other friend, her twin sister, was a hand model at the time, so she modelled the cases that I made. Um, from the fashion business, the photographer for free photographed the collection. I basically built the brand and the website behind it, and I really enjoyed that. And then I was like, right, how am I going to get this brand out there? In the UK, there was a shop called Not on the High Street, and it was really hard to get onto, which I didn't realize at the time, but I got on straight away as soon as I launched my business. And then what I did was I went through all the national magazines in the UK and I found the product journalist. I then went and found their Instagram. I then saw if they had any quotes on their page. I then wrote them a handwritten letter with a phone case with a quote on that I thought they might like. Let me just show you. It's not Chanel. This is my little box that I've had for about 10 years now, with all of my phone cases. You got this. My friends all took the piss out of me for this one. Don't look back. You're not going that way. And my favorite ones were She Designed a Life She Loved, and do more of what makes you happy. And at the time, I was really into quotes, and they all had really cheesy flowers and stuff on them, and birds, and they looked like they were for 5-year-olds. And I wanted something that was a bit cool as you can make an inspirational quote. Anyway, so I got in touch with all the journalists. I was in Cosmo magazine. I was in Women's Own. Um, this is my phone case there. We love this. I was in the Sunday Times or the Sunday Express. So get this, that was my phone case. And then I was in Closer magazine, and we're making of hundreds of pounds on the side. And there was like a picture of my phone case and me, and I was hustling. And what I realized about this process was that I really, I achieved my one badass goal, which was to have a new business. And by the way, never thought I'd be a business owner or ever wanted to do something like that. But what I found out by doing this process and taking the first step of just like thinking my intuition, like what could I do that was interesting? And that's what Jen teaches in the book. It's just like follow your intuition and the steps. So I created this, but what I found that I really enjoyed was the building of the website and the brand. That really spoke to me. Enter book two by Jen. You are a badass at making money. Now, this book, she was touring it and she came to the UK, and her friend of hers hosted a lunch at Babington House, part of the Soho House group. And I remember entering this world, and it was so foreign to me. I didn't go to places like that at the time. And I just remember thinking, I want to work with Jen. And I asked her, I said, do you work with people? And she said, no, I don't. But Kat, who's hosting the lunch, she works with people if you wanted to get coaching. And at that point, I knew that I kind of knew maybe what I wanted to do, but wasn't very sure. I didn't know how to package things or offers or services. Like I said, having my own business was totally foreign for me. So so I hired Kat, and at the time I actually got a loan out, which I didn't tell anybody about. And I know that Jen talks about often in the books is sometimes if something feels really good in your gut, just go for it. And that's what I did. And that money that I got a loan out for, I think I've probably made on my investment back from that like times 20. And it was like 5-figure loan, if not, yeah, 5-figure loan. It was a lot. And through all of the working with that coach, I got a lot of referrals from her, and then from those people I got referrals, and it's just been like an incredible part of my income from my business from that first hire of my first coach. Okay, so let me just double check my notes. So I met Kat, hired her, and she helped me to package up what my services and my skills could be. And I'd worked in fashion, like I said, for 10 years at this point, and I was really good at capturing people's essence, because I would also take photographs of customers that would come in or the CEO of our company, more like lifestyle shots. And I heard of this thing called personal branding, which I knew nothing about because I just knew of fashion photography. But personal branding photography was more like intimate and showing behind the scenes look at people's lives. And that was something that I thought, well, I can do that. And I also actually managed the website as one of my roles in the business, and I did email marketing, designed our emails. So I thought, well, when I was looking for a coach before I found Kat, I didn't emotionally connect with any of them. And I thought, well, I can absolutely help other coaches or other service-based businesses connect with their audience, because I feel like that's my gift, using my intuition and translating people's energy. So my first coach, Kat, she helped me do this and package it up. And that was in the summer of July 2017. I handed in my notice in October. I didn't have any clients. I didn't have much savings, and I just left. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna jump and hope the net catches me. I know that's not everybody's MO for doing things, but it was mine. And I did my coach's website. I said, if I do this for you, would you please recommend me for people? And she did, and it basically started my trajectory in my business. And then what happened was for the next 5 years, it was income roller coaster. I was like incredibly good at my business and my job and working with clients. Like because I'd worked with a coach right at the beginning of my journey, I'd nailed like the perfect offer for me, the perfect clients that I wanted to work with. So like that was all great, but it was finding the clients, it was the marketing that I'd really struggled with. And like in Jen's book, you know, a lot of it teaches about mindset and the universe and manifesting. But I think sometimes when you are feeling a bit low and worried all the time, you know, I had moments of depression, which I'd never had before in a 9 to 5, where you've got steady income coming in. I found that when I had clients coming in, my mood would be high. When it was really quiet, it would be low. And I got to a point after 5 years where I was like, I don't want whether I've got clients or not to dictate my happiness. So I thought I'm going to get a 9 to 5. So I applied for a job, and it was people that were close to me that said, Liz, you have got so far, like you've got to just keep on going. And I think it was their faith in me that helped me to just keep going. So I did, and I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for those kind words to help me keep on going. But what I did then was I took everything that I'd learned from You Are a Badass, from all of the personal development growth. You know, I went on like such a spin of like reading books those whole 5 years. And then I had people, somebody really close to me at the time, somebody I was dating, had such great money mindset beliefs, and they were just so believed in me. And I think that really helped me as well. So if you can find somebody that really believes in you, I think, yes, we can do it ourselves and we have to have that. But it's also really nice if you have a cheerleader. And then I found people that were very similar to me in how I designed and how I ran my business. I spoke to them, I reached out and I said, would you mind having a chat with me? Because I saw that she was doing well, this woman. And she had a chat with me, and I thought, oh, you know, she's just saying to me she's hitting nearly 6 figures in her business, and it's just from referrals. And that's like how I was getting clients in my business. But I kept on telling myself that that was wrong and it wasn't the right way to do things. I had to do a million other things. And then what would happen is my energy and all of my focus was scattered on so many different things because I didn't listen to my intuition. And that's when things really started to change. And what I also did was I got focused on one marketing channel, and I got focused on my offer. In the past, I'd really made the offer quite big, and actually I reduced the time scale. Rather than 6 weeks, I now did it in two, and I just worked with one client at a time. Because the way my brain works, I'm not very good at stacking stuff and lots of different projects. It just doesn't work for me. I feel quite overwhelmed and anxious if that happens. So I found the perfect thing. And then it's like it just took off my business. I was doing lots of energy work, raising my vibe, all of that jazz. And it was just amazing. And what happened next was in the next 11 months of having that conversation, applying for that job, I hit 6 figures for the first time in my business. And then I did that for multiple years. And then last year, which was 2025, I decided that I really wanted to help people and create a course around designing a life you love and a business. Because I would speak to people that were saying, you know, their business was successful, but they had no time to enjoy it. And I'd like, during that year, I got to 6 figures, I'd taken 10 weeks of holiday off. I was working with my dream clients. I wasn't working like huge amounts of hours in the week. I was going for massages, meet my friends at my local members club. FYI, Soho House that I'd never been to before, where I met Jen Sincero. Within a year, I became a member, and I now live in the Cotswolds. I was in London for 13 years before getting into all of this personal growth. I knew I needed to be more in nature, so I now live in the Cotswolds. And Soho Farmhouse, which is such a nice members club, is just down the road from me, and I go there all the time. So, like, a big part of what I wanted to teach in this course was about like getting focused, using your intuition, sorting your core offer down. But it was a lot about mindset and like reverse engineering what you want your life to look like. So I'm really proud of that course. But one of the things that I teach in that is that you have to focus on one thing, and when you don't, the other thing goes away. So when I focused on my course, my web design business went a lot quieter, and I realized that I'm so happy I have this course that can sell whilst I'm giving talks and I'm doing my YouTube videos, and maybe somebody will see it and be like, I've got to buy that course. But what really lights me up is working with the clients that I do, the coaches, and changing their lives by creating amazing brands and websites for them. So that's what I mainly do as my main job, and I love it. And yeah, this book just changed my life. Like, if right now, I don't know if I'd still be doing fashion design. I don't know if I'd be living in the Cotswolds. I don't know if I'd be, having six-figure incomes in my like yearly business. Would that be happening if I had never read this book? I don't think so. And I think I'd be sort of slogging away, like having a boss. And you're here, I think, really, maybe because you've been thinking about starting a business or you already have one. And yeah, it can be that. And it will be, when you're first beginning, just to be honest. But if you find something that you're really passionate and you love doing, then it will never be so painful that once you start getting clients, you just, life's going to be so happy and you can live your days how you want them to be. So this week, I think what have I done this week? Yesterday it was the Soho Summit, and I saw some really incredible speakers of the day. Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso, a famous director, speaking. So like that was what I did yesterday. And 3 days before, I worked on client work. Today I'm recording YouTube videos, and I'm gonna book my flights to go see two of my friends that have moved to Spain. So it's, and I'm going to mow the lawn in a minute in my garden, because like my day is my day to do with what I want, and I can do all of those hours. And it's because of Jen and reading that book 10 years ago. I just don't think my life would look this way. And I also want to say as well, I met my biz bestie, somebody that I speak to every single day of my life, probably for like 8 years now. And I met her through, she was at the same lunch where I met Jen with this book. She read this book, and she ended up working with my first coach, helping her with her tech problems and in infrastructure in the business. And she helped me with some domain stuff when I was like not super technically advanced at that point, when I was just more in the branding side of the website stuff. And we became best friends, and that's like one of the hugest, like, thank you, Jen, for introducing me to my best friend Sarah. So some really amazing things can come when you follow your intuition, listen to the woman that gives you a book, to the whispers of the universe. I was very cynical. I would just say that if you read this book and you're a bit like me, open your mind up to what's possible. Like, maybe start getting into a bit of the woo. The things that I've manifested have been incredible. Like houses, like particular clients. Like, I've done vision boards where I've like put like a TEDx speaker, that the kind of client I want to work with. Within 3 months, I had somebody reach out to me, and then I later went on her website. Never heard of her before, and she had a TED talk that had over 3 million views on it. And I put the two images together, and they were like exactly the same. And yeah, the view from a house that I wanted and the view that I ended up getting, like just loads of things like that. So open your mind. If you think it and you truly believe it, you can make it happen. Thank you, Jen. If you've not read this book, go read it. And if you like this video, go watch the video. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it over here. Go watch the next video in the series, and hopefully you'll like it.